as part of Move United's Leadership Conference today. My name is Julianne Mills, and I'm a program manager at Move United, which is formerly Disabled Sports USA. Today, I'd like to thank the Bob Woodruff Foundation for their long-standing commitment and support. This has allowed us to bring you this virtual learning opportunity today. I'm going to go over a couple of housekeeping items before I turn things over to our presenter. Everyone is muted and your cameras are off for this webinar. So to communicate with us, you can use the chat box and be sure that it's set to send to the attendees and the panelists so that everyone can see your comments. And I'd like to invite you to go ahead and type in the chat box where you're joining us from today. Also, you'll see a question and answer button on your screen. You can use that to send questions to our presenter. Now I'm going to turn things over to Kylene Davis for our presentation.
Hi, everybody. My name, as Julianne said, is Kylene Davis, and I'm the Member Services Manager with Move United. The presentation today is going to focus on the structure of our membership program and some of the changes that have taken place over the past 12 months. We're also going to look at how your organization can get involved if you're not already. So hopefully we'll cover everything that we can in the presentation. There will be an opportunity for questions and answers at the end. So my role as the Member Services Manager is actually part of a larger membership team. Our Member Services Department is made up of 3 staff. Cheryl Collins is our Member Services Director. Ryan Semke is our Insurance Program Manager, and then myself. I have worked with formerly Disabled Sports USA since 2005. I started as an intern. And I've worked in the programs department and then recently moved over to the member services department, where I now focus primarily on member services. So onboarding new members, working with other departments on the benefit structure that we offer. So anything membership focused, I try to have a hand in. So that should help kind of set the stage for who I am and where I'm coming from. So today, as I mentioned, we will be talking about our membership network, what it is and how it's set up. We'll touch a little bit specifically on the benefits, the requirements, related communications, and then the process for how to get involved. So this picture right here represents our membership network as it stands right now. We heard during the keynote about how our focus with Vision 2028 is on expansion. And so this we anticipate will start looking a lot different. But it is reflective of what our goal with the membership network is. We are trying to strengthen the adaptive sports industry as a whole by supporting those grassroots community sports organizations all over the country. So right now, as it stands, our network is 149 organizations strong. We represent 42 states. We come in with 4 membership levels represented, and we'll get into some specifics about what those look like. And the member organizations represented in that network offer over 50 sports. The chart that you see here sort of divides out the different membership levels that we offer. Historically, as we've mentioned previously, the chapter model has been our standard model. And the focus within that has been on adaptive sports organizations whose focus is on providing sports to athletes with disabilities as a focus. What we've tried to do over the years, we've noticed that we were making exceptions to who could come on. So maybe groups that were sports programs that focused on adaptive athletes that were part of a larger entity like a rehab hospital or university. And we sort of took a step back and looked at that and thought, why are we making these exceptions? They should be part of this rule. So what we've done is created 4 levels for any organization that's offering direct sports programming to athletes with disabilities to cast a wider net and include all of those organizations. Our chapter model still stands, as Glenn said in the keynote, as our premier platinum level membership. Not only does this level include adaptive sports organizations specifically, but that includes programs or departments of larger entities that focus specifically on adaptive sports. For example, I mentioned rehab hospitals. We do have a number of chapters who are the adaptive sports program of a rehab hospital. And the way that we look at their membership is that that program is the entity that has the membership, even though it's part of a larger group. When the expansion as we move toward the right includes adaptive clubs, inclusive clubs, and event partners. And essentially the distinction between all of these is the focus of your programming at the athletes that you serve and how often your programming occurs. So the top two tiers, chapter and adaptive club, are organizations and sub-programs of organizations that are focused on serving adaptive athletes, athletes with disabilities. The difference between those two is that a chapter is going to be offering close to year-round programming, 40 plus days a year. An adaptive club might be smaller, maybe offering seasonal sports. So those are the main differences. As you move further to the right, we've got the inclusive club model. And the distinction there is that the athletes that they are serving on the whole may be non-adaptive, but that they are trying to create an inclusive environment to include those athletes with disabilities in their larger programming. So a great distinction here is to look at the Parks and Rec model. There are several Parks and Rec programs that may have a department or a sub-program that is specifically designed around creating and providing adaptive sports opportunities. They would come in at one of those chapter adaptive club levels, but there are also Parks and Rec programs that are inclusive, that serve that population within the general non-adaptive programming that they're doing and are trying to create stronger inclusive programming. So they could come in at that level. So the top three are sort of our programmatic levels. Event partner is focused on maybe a one-off event or an event series that has a clear access point for athletes with disabilities. That can be an adaptive specific sporting event. That can even be a non-adaptive sporting event that has an adaptive division. So a marathon that has an adaptive division, something like that. So they come in at a different level. The benefits that we'll talk about are sort of tiered across this board. So as you move across the board, access to our benefits change based on the level of membership that you're coming in at. So we'll talk a little bit about the benefits. As you can see, we offer a plethora of benefits, and really our focus is on continuing to grow and expand that list of benefits and services that we provide to our member organizations. We have a robust grant program that, as Julia mentioned earlier, has doubled in the past year. We are happy to say that we've been able to provide over $2 million in programmatic grants to our member network this past year. And as Glenn said, we aren't trying to add to this network without expanding the opportunities. We're continuing to use the expansion of our membership really to leverage more benefits. So the bigger our footprint, the more we were able to provide support for that network. So our grant program is growing by leaps and bounds. There are three primary areas of funding there. We fund a lot of programs that are youth focused, military focused, and then also training and education. And then there's some other outlier programs as well. The only member level that does not have access to this particular benefit is the event partner, but the other three levels do have access. We also have an insurance program. Only the top two tiers, the chapter and adaptive club, are eligible to apply for this program. There are certain exclusions in this program that are not guaranteed that everybody will gain access to it, but we do guarantee the availability of applying for this program if you are one of those two member levels. We also have a robust training and education program. Not only does it manifest itself in the grants that we're able to provide to our member network, we also do sport-specific trainings year-round, and we heavily involve our membership network in both putting those on and then attending them. We also have this leadership conference that's available. We put that on annually, and that sort of bounces around the country to provide ease of access to different programs. And with the sport specific trainings and the leadership conference, we are able to extend to our network scholarships to attend. So either low cost or no cost attendance at these events. We also have a resource library online that is full of templates, resources, webinars to help um, um, sort of dovetail with the training and education program to really help your organization improve itself wherever it's at. So that's a huge benefit there. Also direct access to our staff and to other network organizations. So as Glenn said, we have a small staff and we're looking at efficiencies to help us better address the needs of our member network while still being available for one-on-one communications, small group communications. So we really are still trying to prioritize that relationship that we have with our member organizations. We also try to encourage partnerships between different member organizations, especially now that we're expanding our footprint and there's going to be more crossover in different geographic areas. We see that as a good thing. We really want to enhance the strength of this network in the sense that we want others to partner with one another and really move this whole industry forward by doing so. There are other ancillary benefits. We do have an in-house magazine, which was formerly called Challenge Magazine, will now be called Move United Magazine. We encourage our member organizations to solicit events and programming that they have coming up so that we can feature them in that magazine that currently hits 35,000 households. We have a jobs and volunteer page where member organizations can post positions free of charge. We have a comprehensive online event calendar where folks can post events free of charge. And then, like I said, we're constantly reevaluating the benefit structure and trying to see other ways that we can expand the services that we're providing to our member organizations. As far as an athlete and participant, the benefit to accessing programs through the Move United membership network is that we can create this online directory of programs to help, connect the dots. We right now have a searchable map that allows folks to view programs in their area and get connected that way. So we're able to refer participants back to the programs that are part of our network. The other thing that is helpful is that they can be assured of the safety and legitimacy of our programs. For those folks coming onto our network, they have to go through an application process. And we use that application process to vet not only their delivery of programs, but their sustainability as an organization. Do they have sound financial practices? Do they have risk management policies and procedures in place? Are their staff trained and educated in the sports that they're executing and providing? So in order to become part of our member network, you have to demonstrate these basic standards and essentially year over year demonstrate that you're still performing at a certain level. We also offer certain direct athlete related grants and resources, and we usually use our member organizations as a pass-through for those. So there's benefits to both of those, both the athlete and the organization. In terms of requirements, just like the benefits, these are also tiered based on the membership level. However, the slide here kind of demonstrates what our overarching requirements are. And as I mentioned before, they really are set up to ensure that the organizations that we're working with are sound in both their operational and administrative practices and their execution and delivery of sports programming. So these are the basic things that we look at during the application process. And then year over year with renewal, we have a member agreement where we will outline both the benefits that whatever membership level you're coming in at, that level is receiving, and what your requirements are. So just as a reminder, this is what we expect to be in place. We also will work with organizations. So if there's an area where you don't feel your program is shorn up, we have tools in place to help you get there. So we're not trying to scare anybody off with these requirements. We're trying to set a standard but we are also in a place to help. So if you are looking to apply and you feel that there might be an area you need assistance in, feel free to contact us and we can see how to best move you forward. In terms of communications, this is an important piece of our membership network program. In addition to the public directory we have that's sort of forward facing and is meant to help connect athletes with programs in their area, we also have a lot of internal communications that are specific to our member network. We have a monthly newsletter that goes out. In addition to providing information about internal opportunities and programs that we're conducting, we try to share external opportunities, grant opportunities that come across our desks, promote different industry news, that sort of thing. So just to sort of keep everybody connected in this very holistic newsletter. We also champion our member organization successes. We have a member update section where we talk about advancements that folks have in their programming or new facilities that they've created. So we really want our member network to be aware of one another and all the great things that you all are doing. As I mentioned, we have grant opportunities. We are unable to create a calendar around that because they are funder dependent. So as funding becomes available, we communicate directly with our member organizations to let them know what the structure of a specific grant is and the application process and expectations and deliverables. We have a training calendar. We'll promote upcoming trainings. So in addition to that information being housed on our website, we'll be pushing that out as well so that you hopefully won't miss anything. And then as I mentioned, our magazine, that goes out 3 times a year, and we look for contributions for content, and it's a great way to stay in touch and promote your programs nationally. So now we get into the process of applying. So all of the information surrounding the different levels, who they apply to, what the benefits are for each, what the requirements are for each is available on our website. If you go to moveunitedsport.org/membership-levels, you'll find all that information available there. We recommend that you review that carefully before starting. There are some requirements that we expect folks to meet. We can be flexible on some, but for instance, in terms of demonstrating your sustainability as a sports organization, we need to see that you've been programming for 12 months in the adaptive realm. So we want to make sure that there are no surprises as you move forward at the process. So definitely go to this page and take a look. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to us. If you feel that there may be an exception that you represent, reach out, we'll see what we can do. The application is available online through that page as well. There is a save and return feature. So as you look at the application, excuse me, as you look at the application and you start to understand that maybe there's information that you need to collect in order to apply, you can save things throughout the application process. Maybe there are more than one staff person that need to be involved or look at the application. You can save and return, and you'll be provided with a URL that you can share with other staff people in your network in order to move through that application. And then you also have availability of support from our staff. So my contact information, which will be made available at the end of this slide deck, is also available online. So you can reach out to me at any point in time if you have questions, if you want clarification. We are still sort of in the learning process of expanding our model. So we are finding that certain things we've required of organizations in the past may not apply to everybody as we start to now include more models that are related to local government or even for-profit organizations. So we are happy to have a dialogue around what is going to best work in terms of demonstrating to us that your program is legitimate. Once an application is submitted, will take about 2 weeks to review. We'll follow up if there are any questions, and then we'll communicate the final determination. Once a final determination is made for certification, you'll receive information related to our onboarding package, which includes our member agreement, for your review and signature, and also a member handbook that has more information on how to access the benefits that we have available. So hopefully that provided a decent enough snapshot of what we're trying to accomplish with our membership program, how to get involved. This is my contact information. Feel free to take it down and reach out to me at any time. Hopefully there's some questions that we can address, but again, if something doesn't get covered here and you are curious about it, feel free to reach out to me directly.
Thanks, Kylene. We've been having a lot of activity over here in our chat box and also have some questions that have come in. I'm gonna send your way here. So first question coming in from Chris. He's asking, with USA no longer in our name, are we welcoming to agencies from other nations?
That's a great question. We had not had any inquiries yet, but we'd be willing to take a look at and see what sort of, if that'd be feasible. So if he's coming from an organization from out of country, I recommend contacting me directly and we'll see what we can do.
Great. Another question coming in is asking if we have special rates for organizations that are startups or smaller.
So the requirements annually for our network are that there are annual dues associated with membership. Those dues are scaled depending on the level that you come in at. And we can certainly work with groups. If it's hard to meet those dues standards annually, we can create payment situations. So it is tiered, and we can work with you to do deferred payments.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point to emphasize, Kylene. Part of our mission at Move United is to increase access, and we understand that financial resources are often a major barrier to access. So if that is a concern of yours, please do reach out to us so we can find a way to work together and help you through that in the interest of expanding access. Let's see, we have another question here coming in about grants. Are grants just for nonprofit entities, or do other types qualify?
So in order to qualify for our grants, you have to be a 501c3 or a tax-exempt organization. So if you are, I believe if you're a local government, if you are part of a public educational institution, you would still qualify for our grant program.
Okay. And now with the merger with Adaptive Sports USA and this growth in mind, can you talk a little bit about how the growth may impact the existing chapter network and their operational areas? And Jeff McGinnis is asking if there are any policies in place to avoid overlaps.
That's a great question. So we do realize that this is going to perhaps increase programs in areas where we already have chapters in existence. We do look at the sports programs provided when we look at an application. We also reach out to existing chapters for feedback. We definitely encourage, if there is overlap of programming in a certain area, that organizations collaborate with one another. But we're also looking to, in some cases, increase our presence in a certain geographic area, but not duplicate programming. So there are a lot of instances where a program may be applying in your area, but isn't offering the same programmatic menu. But it's something that we're aware of. And I want to reemphasize what Glenn said during the keynote. We are trying to increase our benefits to match this increase of our footprint, so that we're not asking existing chapters to take less from us. Our whole goal is to strengthen this industry and to push us all forward within that. So we are going to be encouraging partnerships. We're going to be encouraging sort of cross-pollination in certain areas.
Great. And if you missed this morning's keynote with Glenn, Mary, and Susan Rossi, I would encourage you to check that out on our Facebook page. It was recorded as a Facebook Live, so you're welcome to play that back. It's great to see so many current members in this session to learn about this. And a question that we're getting is if current members need to reapply or how the levels will affect them.
So there's no need to reapply. At this point, the way that we're recognizing existing chapters is just as chapters. So we've rolled everybody into that top tier of membership. If you want to revisit your membership level, if you would like to drop it down, you can contact me directly and we'll look at that. We are going to be implementing the member agreements across our entire network. So coming this June, which is our typical renewal period, you'll start to see the rollout of that. That'll let you opt in. It'll let you sort of reevaluate the benefits and requirements of the level that you are at. And like I said, there's some fluidity there. So if you would like to drop down, also for any new members coming on, if you come in at a lower member level and then over the years your program grows, we can be fluid and look at where you stand, but there's no need to reapply.
Great. And we just have a few minutes left here, so I wanted to leave this on one final question for those that are attending today and they don't currently have a Move United organization in their community. What advice do you have for them? What steps can they take to bring this to their local community?
So I would say keeping an eye out for programs in your area, or if you are a program that is in sort of a Move United programmatic desert, give me a call. I'd be happy to talk through what it takes to come on, the application process, what our expectations are. We're constantly looking for leads. There are organizations that we're aware of, but even in watching the session this morning, there were a lot of people checking in from organizations I had not yet heard of. So if don't assume that we know who you are. I welcome calls and emails, and I'm happy to talk with you about this opportunity.
Great. And could you speak to any areas in particular that Move United has identified as being a high priority where we're eager to expand to?
We're basically looking wherever we are not. That's sort of the focus of our recruitment right now, but we are absolutely recruiting in all areas. But states where we don't have a huge presence, Texas is one. We're hyper focused in the San Antonio area. We're looking to change that. New Jersey is a place that we know has good organizations. We just don't have any on our membership list at this time. So we're looking at those areas. Certain parts of certain states, for example, we have a lot on the Pacific Northwest on the coast, but east of the mountains, we don't have a lot of programs identified sort of in Northeast Washington. So, but honestly, we're looking at all areas.
Great. And I just want to echo what you're saying, where it's really important for our mainstream providers, Parks and Rec, others that already exist in the community, to come and see just how easy it is to be inclusive. And we have great resources available for you that are looking to serve more individuals in your community. So we can't wait to hear from you and keep expanding the Move United network to serve more. So I'm going to wrap things up here and just invite everyone, if you haven't already shown us some love on social media, get right to it, #MoveUnited. And when you close out the session today, a survey will pop up. We'd love to hear your feedback here. I'm so sorry we didn't have enough time to cover every question, but we will pass these along to Kylene, and her contact information is on the screen, so she will follow up with you personally to address your questions. So on behalf of Move United, I want to thank you all for joining us today, and thank you, Kylene, for walking us through the new member infrastructure.